and the people who love them.
Hello, this is The Thing About Cars, coming to you, as always, from Atlanta, recording in Strongbox West. We have a really full house today. Let's do quick introductions.
Becca.
Ronny. Ben.
And
Katie.
Katie was one of our original participants that started off on this podcasting journey with us at the very, very beginning, and joining us at the table today, again, after a while. What have you been up to?
I've just been working, going to school.
Yeah?
Yeah.
How's school going?
It's good. I just got my finishing certification and finished those classes. So automotive paint and all that.
Automotive paint.
Mm-hmm.
So are you're working in the car industry now?
Yes, I work for a used car company.
Cool. Which one?
Carvana.
I mean, we're not getting any promotional material. I guess we can talk about anybody.
Right.
I can't say anything too much because they're very iffy about stuff like that.
Okay.
They don't like shameless plugs?
Well, yeah. I mean, as long as I don't say anything negative.
Exactly.
No, yeah, we don't want to shame anybody at this point, but are you liking it?
Yes, I do like it.
Cool.
Yeah, it's probably one of my favorite jobs.
Well, we need a sponsor,
judge
so
me.
can you help us get a sponsorship?
Also, don't judge me by the paint on my car. If you saw the parking lot, you know which one I'm talking about.
Right.
Yeah?
Well, how does Carvana work? I mean, I think that would be one question that we could safely ask.
It's just like what the whole inspections and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's just it goes to like the inspection part, and then they send it off to whatever needs to be done, and then it goes to like like the first thing would be going to actually to the paint department, which I'm in, and that's what I do is the auto prep, and then probably build, and which helps with all that, then the detail, and then it goes to get the photos taken, and then has the last checks, and then goes to and that's basically how it works.
Sounds like a pretty standard car sales operation.
Yeah. The only thing is that the only difference is that because it's an online thing,
Mm-hmm.
they have 2 shifts. So they have I work the second shift, which I work until 3:30, 4:30 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Okay, that's a long day.
Yes, it is. But I like it, and I have my weekends. So.
Right. So on the board, we have a number of topics. You wrote up there the new C8 Corvette. What about it?
About their that it was shown at the Nürburgring. I don't know how to say that.
Well, I just looked this up. It's been seen there, but the model has not officially been announced yet.
Oh.
Right. There's some speculation that it may be officially shown at the Detroit show next year, where if we see it in production, it'll be a 20 model.
The Nürburgring.
Yes, in Germany. Yeah, supposedly it made a really smoking lap time. Of course, prototypes and test mules have been seen out and about, but none of that guarantees that we're going to get this in showrooms. However, enough of it has been seen that we probably will. Although we should also mention they've been toying with a mid-engine Vette since the 60s.
Uh-huh.
But now it looks like it may finally come to fruition.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Katie was saying it was a mid-engine vehicle. What's it look like?
It looks like a Lamborghini, and I am not too fond of that.
No?
No,
You got this big smile on your face. And
I don't like Lamborghinis the way they look because they're just, to me, the way I explain it, they look like those door wedges that you hold the door open.
I
don't think that at all. They make me hot.
Well, see, I like them, but what's the point when you start looking like every other car? What's the point in having options being around?
Yeah.
Kind of thing. Be different.
I agree with that.
Stop looking like everybody else.
I'm sure when it gets to the showroom, it's going to have a Corvette look about it. Of course, the cockpit will be more forward because there's an engine behind it, but I'm sure it will have those styling cues that kind of say Corvette.
So let's talk about this for a second. It's become a mid-engine car. When's the last time a Corvette was a mid-engine car? Never. So why is the Corvette trying to become a mid-engine car? Why are they not just putting a nice stout engine up front like they always do?
Because that was Zora's dream. I actually ended up, my uncle's big into the car scene. He mostly does British cars. And he posted something, and I actually happened to comment on the C8 Corvette, and somebody messaged me, and I kind of insulted the body style, and the guy works for Corvette on the C8 Corvette. And that's what he said, was just that they basically capped the limit of horsepower on what a normal Corvette is, so that's why they're doing the mid-engine to increase the horsepower.
Hadn't they had a mid-engine concept in the past, though?
Yeah,
yes.
Since the 60s, they've kind of toyed with it here and there. They've shown some prototypes that never, quite made it. But I think it's kind of an aspirational thing. They want to keep moving up in the hierarchy of performance in the world, and there's a certain point where front engine just doesn't really cut that anymore.
Well, I'm not saying that a mid-engine is bad, but it's almost becoming formulaic to come up with a supercar that is flat, low to the ground, wedge-shaped, and has a mid-mounted engine in it.
Well, there's a point of performance past which nothing else really works as well.
True.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say.
The physics involved,
Right. From a scientific perspective, which is what cars are moving towards more and more, you don't get more performance-oriented than mid-engine, rear-wheel drive, which is what the Corvette's going to. And as for the design in terms of why I'm looking at a concept right now. It does look very Ferrari / Lamborghini-ish / McLaren-ish, because for anyone that's ever worked on one of those cars, if you pop the hood after driving any mid-engine car, it is scorching under there. It is so extraordinarily hot that you need to be designed a certain way to keep everything cool enough to last more than 10,000 miles. I mean, part of the reason, if anyone has been in the scene of Ferraris and Lamborghinis, it's not uncommon to hear about them catching on fire because fuel lines would erupt because it just got so darn hot in there. And there's no way for air to really escape or cool things down. I mean, yeah, you can do liquid cool, but air plays a big part of why front engine cars cool down. I see Becca has a question.
Well, not so much a question. When you were going scientific, I wasn't sure if you were going to go in this direction or not. Especially with American sports or muscle cars, things like that. One of their big issues have always been weight ratio. Mm-hmm. We've got all this power coming out of the back, but all the weight is up in the front. Looking at the mid-engine helps the ratio issue.
Well, actually, it's not even so much the ratio, because to be 50-50 over the axles is one thing. You can just add weight in.
It's been pretty difficult for some of the cars. Mustang for a long time had a big issue with that ratio.
Yeah, I kind of hate to say it, but if they just kind of got their heads out of their asses and just
offered the Panhard bar from
Wait. Say that again, Ronny.
If Ford just kind of got their head out of their asses and kind of just did some mild geometric readjustments to the rear and just did a few more component swaps to the rear, like they would have a better 50-50 ratio. But even that's only so much of the problem, because the Mustang would have still handled like Dookie from the factory.
Hey, Mister, my car blows up in 30,000 miles.
Well, I never said I bought the new M. I am not an E90 M3 fan, but a lot of it has to do with where the weight is. So if you kind of think of a seesaw, you have a center point. If you have the weight all the way on one extreme end and you have another weight on the other extreme end, you can bounce the seesaw up and down very highly because of where your points of force are at. That's the ratio that
I was talking about.
Right. Yeah. But if you take both of those weights and you move it towards the center point of the seesaw, it doesn't really go anywhere, which is a good thing for a car. You're centered, you're balanced, and the power is going over where the wheels are generating the power. So
right.
If you notice, or if you think about any car doing a quarter-mile run, every car squats in the rear, right? Even if it's front-wheel drive, the car has a tendency to lean back and then shoot forward. So if your power is being generated in the rear, all your weight is in the rear, and as you stomp on the throttle, all of that is helping squat in the rear. You're assisting the tires get more traction. And also, when you hit the brakes or you start to turn, the weight doesn't go all over the place because it's mainly center mass. And so instead of the seesaw flipping back and forth on a 50-50 car that has its weights very close to the edge, with it being in the center, the dips are a lot more practical and precise, and the maneuverability increases substantially. That's why, I mean, gosh, any race you see out there, it's usually a mid-engine rear-wheel drive car that's kicking the crud out of everyone else.
So I'm not opposed to the notion that the Corvette should become a mid-engine car, although again, it is sort of the formula because the formula works. We get that. But I just looked at the spy shots.
That's what we're looking at over here too.
Shot, yeah, and then my first knee-jerk reaction was it's an NSX.
It's well, my reaction is it's not a Corvette. I mean, it's you can pick out a whole bunch of different names to call it.
Yeah.
That it's trying to go after.
Well, there's been speculation too about will this be the only one, or will it be a sideline to the regular front engine one, because there will definitely be a price difference.
Well, we're just looking pretty much at the styling though right now.
Well,
yeah, the styling doesn't scream Corvette to me, and I'm the most novice of all you guys, so.
Yeah, but I mean, even beyond that, I think with the C7 in general, I felt like Corvette saw a pretty substantial level of success with it because they stepped out of what they were doing in terms of their norm. It's a Corvette still, but it's fresh, it's unique, it's kind of more inspired.
The C7?
Oh, okay. Sorry, I thought we were still on the...
No, but I mean...
Because that's the problem. If you step out of your norm and into somebody else's norm, you're not doing anything unique or groundbreaking. You're just following the other sheep.
I mean, that's the risk, right? That's always the risk. If you do the normal thing, you get criticized for it. If you do the abnormal thing, you get criticized for it.
But you might have the next great thing, and everybody goes through it where they have a ton of failures, but eventually come across something groundbreaking, awesome, new, and the only way you're going to do that is to stop copying everybody else's style.
Becca, you said you were the novice at the table, so that prompts me to ask, how's the Civic?
The Civic. I love the Civic a lot. She can hear me, I'm sure of it. So for those of you who haven't heard me talk about her for a while, she's a 2000 Honda Civic, and I've done a lot of the maintenance myself, or with somewhat minimal help. I try to do as much as I can myself. Most recently, I replaced a passenger window after some D-bag broke my window overnight. Not cool. There was nothing in the car.
I didn't know about that one. I was worried about after the accident.
I Instagrammed it. But you'd have to be on Instagram more often, Becca.
I know. I've been very out of touch lately.
So I just replaced the passenger side window. But engine-wise, she's good. I'm just really, really busy, and taking time to do a tune-up is like, well, I've got 3,000 other things to do on my day off. I'm this close to just paying someone to do it.
Sure.
But then I feel bad because, like, I know how to do it. I actually have fun when I'm under the hood.
Exactly.
But I've also got lots of other obligations. But so my girl's at 217 right now, 217,000 miles, and I definitely want to take her out as far as I can, but then I'm also wondering at what point do I start thinking about getting another car. I don't want to let her go yet, though.
But see, I am very pro collecting cars.
Yeah, I'm pro collecting shoes and clothes, so why can't I collect cars too, right?
Well, you can't. There's nothing that says you can't, except for the insurance costs and the liability costs of keeping them both in your garage.
But then you get multi-car discounts. I'm just saying.
You have to be at 5 to get the multi-car discount.
No, not with the company I'm with, at least. So
Really?
It depends on what company, but yeah, as soon as you get 2, you get multi-car with.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm thinking about when you can call it a fleet.
No, we're not talking about
not
fleet
there.
yet. Although, so that's
I'm
interesting.
not
I will
there.
need 2 more, and I can call mine a fleet officially.
Yeah.
Okay, goals.
Becca's fleet.
My goals.
Which Becca? Let's have a fleet
Okay,
together, Becca.
Okay, Becca fleet. So the question then becomes, if you get a second car, what are you going to get?
Well, I love Tesla. I don't think I can afford Tesla, but I love Tesla. Any sugar daddies out there? Can I say that on air?
Sure.
Okay, cool.
Are we allowed to shop for a sugar daddy for Becca on the podcast?
If you would like to meet Becca, please email us at thethingaboutcars.
I have a boyfriend. Thank you very much. This one doesn't work on cars, but
See, now we're going to get you in trouble with him.
sugar daddy is
Well, he
different
can
than
be a
boyfriend.
sugar daddy.
Yeah, sugar daddy is different than boyfriend. So
Depends on how much money he
Right.
makes. I'm sorry. I was hesitating.
We might have to cut this out.
Okay, so talking about Tesla, I read recently somewhere that now that we have more data, Tesla cars in general are rated very poorly in the reliability department. That
I'm gonna cry.
Yeah.
I also heard that Carvana sees lots of Teslas come in.
Yeah,
But
I confirm.
yeah.
And Alfa Romeo.
Really, the new
yeah.
ones.
2015 or 16.
The Julias
So-
or the 4Cs?
4Cs.
See, now, if you were
So
talking about
what
the
should I
numbers-
get,
say
you
if you saw a
guys? You guys
Julia.
all know
Wait,
more
wait,
about cars than me, and you've heard me talk about me working on cars. So what's your guys' take here at the round table?
One at a time, because we're walking over each other a little bit here.
Yeah,
Right. Well, wait. So we know how you feel about your Civic.
I love her, and
Okay.
she's easy to work on,
Well,
which is important to
And
me.
that was a big part of when I was looking for the third vehicle.
And also long-term reliable. I know Honda Civics and Toyota Corollas are supposed to be, and Camrys, really long-term reliable. And
Well,
so far I'm feeling that with my girl. I just want to kind of be prepared.
Right. So we know what you like, though. The question is, do you want a car that is like your current car, or do you want something that's different? And that's kind of what I did with the third one. I've got two girls that are rear-wheel drive V8s, about 2 inches off the ground.
I couldn't deal with that.
So many places I can't go. I can't go to river parks or off-roading or long haul trips. So
I want something that is reliable for the long term and easy to maintain. But if I could have my dream car, Ferrari, Lambo, and Tesla would have a baby,
reasonable.
and she'd be a beautiful electric, sexy sports car.
something sporty, similar to what, something similar
So
to
I
what
think
you've
I want
got
something
now.
sporty.
All right.
That's
time
where I
out.
was going to go. Something similar to where you've got now, but sportier. Sorry, Mickey. Go
So
ahead.
let's take one at a time here. Let's go around the table and let's each cast a really quick opinion on what Becca's next car should be. Let's start with Ben.
Mazda Speed 3.
Why?
Why
Of course,
Mazda?
he said Mazda.
Because you've got the good Japanese engineering. You've got a little ability to haul stuff. I believe you're self-employed and work in multiple locations, right?
I
Yeah.
do go around town a little bit, but also I am in one
And it's
static
fast.
full-time location.
It's fast without
like
being
fast.
just completely fast at the expense of all the other qualities.
I have
Fast,
to
fast.
And more
hit
reliable
cruise
than,
control
say,
on the highway so I don't get tickets.
right. And more reliable than a VW GTI.
Okay.
That's not hard.
Right. I know from experience.
Katie.
Well, I am also big on like reliability, and so I was gonna say like either a Honda or a Toyota.
I mean, I'm like your average American guys, living, sometimes paycheck to paycheck, very little, if any, savings. I mean, we can say this is the norm now here in America for, 98% of people who live here. I think that, so I'm not like, I don't know, any different from a lot of our listeners. And that's important to think about. I can't necessarily take on a huge car payment. And also I can't take on something that I would know would need to have expensive repairs when it would need repaired.
Honda Accord or what?
Like a Toyota Corolla or
Yeah.
Okay, so
That's what I looked for when I got this one. So I've got the Honda Civic, a Toyota Camry, a Corolla, any of the other Hondas are all ones that I had looked at in the
hang on,
past.
wait your turn. Ronnie.
I'm going to piggyback off of Ben and say 2010 or newer Mazda 3 5-door, non-turbo, because turbos are extraordinarily difficult to maintain. They have a much higher failure rate. If the turbo fails, that's a lot of money.
Yeah, I don't want to
takes away a lot of the DIY element if you wanted to keep that up. You don't have to, but it's fun and reasonable as an enthusiast, and the costs are resale along with initial pricing is very reasonable.
Okay.
Becca.
But my question was, but you're not afraid of repairs, right? Is what you were saying.
Yeah, but I can't spend all my time on repairs because I am very busy.
So just balancing out age, I don't remember the last year they even made them. The one popping into my head is the Prelude.
They last made them in 2001.
Yeah.
Because it's
Which
in
is
her wheelhouse,
just as
which is
old as
Honda.
my car is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's under the Honda name as far as reliability and things like that. She's familiar with them, but it's sportier than the Civic.
Interesting thought. My choice, my recommendation would be Volvo V70. The Volvo station wagon. You could get the R.
Oh, no. Station wagons make me think of roaches. Ever since I was a kid and we had a wood-paneled one when I was like 5, I hated that thing. It looked like a giant roach on wheels. No station wagons. Love you, Mickey. Sorry.
No. When you get a chance, look up the V70R.
V7ER?
No, V70, V70R. And
That's pretty badass.
You may change your mind about that. So it hauls. It hauls a lot.
No, but
I don't need to haul that
there's a
much,
newer one that I like better, not this one.
Which one?
What's the newer
The
station?
T5.
It's the 2-door, but with the hatch area. Do you know the one I'm talking about?
You're talking a Volvo?
Yes.
Yeah.
So the V60?
Yeah, no, I still don't like it.
See, if it's
still
not a
ugly.
name, I can't remember it.
It's
you
still
know?
ugly. I mean, remember, my long-term
C30.
rich husband goal would be to have a sexy sports car. This is about
C30.
This is
C30.
I mean, a minivan would be sexier than.
No.
Yeah, wait, hear me out. A minivan would be sexier than a station wagon because you can have in the back.
Oh my God.
Come on, man!
It's
I'm
a
talking
room on
about
wheels.
sexy here.
Wait a minute.
A station wagon is not sexy.
Wait, you can't in the back?
You can in a
In
a
either
station
one.
wagon.
All right, stop.
Barely.
Katie.
You're saying this is somebody who owns a Subaru station wagon and bought another one after I told my first one.
So you love your Subaru station wagon, I
Yes.
hear. Okay, well, all
So
right.
sexy is all very subjective, right? I mean,
Yeah.
All right.
It's in the eye of the beholder for
yeah,
sure.
exactly. So,
Just need to be more bendy. Just saying.
all right, this episode is down
Mickey's putting the caps on this.
straight into the radar
like, all right.
region.
Sorry, guys.
So does this mean you're actually going to start looking for another car, or what's your deadline or timeline?
I don't know. I'm afraid to do it. It gives me anxiety because I love my car and I think she's still good for a while, but also I kind of feel like I need to play the adult and like be moderately prepared for.
Look at it
Yeah.
this way.
Yes.
You're not, and this is how I look at it with the Mustang, who was the first of my current menagerie.
Mm-hmm.
Love her the most, but it is better for her in the long run to not have to do the daily. So don't think of it as, it's the path to getting rid of it or anything like that. That way you have time to do the repairs. You're not rushed to do them. You are not putting as many miles. You're doing what's best for her.
See, I think it's funny that none of us are saying that Becca should not have an emotional attachment to her car.
You
Yeah,
should.
I'm not gonna get rid of her. I think she's still good. We're
Because
holding on
in
to
a
her.
very logical sense, I can imagine someone making a very good case for saying, don't have an emotional contact to the car.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
Get rid of it because it's going to cost you too much to keep it on the road.
Then I don't like
But I
those
don't
people.
think she's going to cost me much to keep on the road. So, yeah. All right. And
Well,
that
there-
is it. for
There
this
is that
episode,
line, right? I mean,
think.
that's the calculation I use. If I spend less on a car in repairs than I would spend on a car in payments and repairs, then I'm going to keep the older car.
Yeah.
But where's the
I mean,
line?
like, my
So-
next repair is what? One of the motor mounts, the passenger side motor mount I need to replace. And the motor mount alone is going to cost me $7. It's just a day of repair, so.
And the problem is the repair or what places would charge you.
Well, no, not I did the other one with my ex, and I'm
No,
gonna
I mean
do
if
it
you're
with
not
a friend
if you're
this
not
time.
doing the repairs. is
Oh,
what
if
I'm-
you're not doing the repair, yeah, true. But I will be doing it.
So I think that's all we have time for today. If anyone out there knows how Becca can get a Tesla cheaply or a sugar daddy, please find us on our website, thethingaboutcars.com. Also, please check out our Patreon at patreon.com/thethingaboutcars. Any other quick housekeeping things before we sign off?
Like and subscribe to our podcast, please, guys.
Yes.
Please and thank you.
Katie, welcome back.
Thank you.
Yes.
Welcome.
That's it, you guys. Be safe out there. We'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening. This has been The Thing About Cars. We'll see you on the road.